Yo, what's up, DGens? What's going on? How is everybody doing? Let's get into the charts as we always do, right off the hop, guys. Right off the hop. How's everybody doing, man? Look at this nice close we had. Once again, guys, we closed above the 100-day SMA, which is what I was hoping for today. We did very nicely. Now, will we come down and test it as support in the next 21 hours, give or take, right? That's entirely possible. Test it as support. If not, maybe we'll test this level here that was resistance. Maybe we'll test that as support, but it would be perfectly healthy to come back down here to around that 1 cent 95 level to build some support, put in a higher low for further continuation to the upside. Or listen, we may just continue going up as long as Bitcoin does, right? So it's kind of what we're paying attention to. I would like to see us kind of come up to the 200-day SMA here and test it, see if it acts as a level of resistance. We'll have to watch it and find out. Going over to Bitcoin's chart. What's going on over here? Boom, look at that. We closed above, guys. This is bullish, okay? We needed to close the daily candle above 75,600. We did. We closed at 75,000, around 800. So we got the bullish close that we needed. We may wick down here, but I think this candle will continue to the upside sometime over the next, again, 21 hours or so, right? So things look good for further continuation to the upside. That is all good in the hood. Let's go check out the bubbles. The crypto bubbles. Let's check them out, guys. So as you see, little bit of a correction on some of the alts. Nothing to write home about though. Bitcoin's holding close to that $76,000 level. You like to see that. We got some coins pumping though. Look at Proppy, man. Proppy's up 18.3% today. Holy crap. I was telling you guys, Proppy was a good pickup when it was below a buck. It was down here at like 85 cents. I said, guys, Proppy, don't sleep on it, right? Fantastic pickup there. And we got some DCA opportunities along the way as well. Turbo is still a good pickup below a penny, in my opinion. People keep asking me if I think that Turbo can hit 10 cents. Of course, I think Turbo can 10x from here. Of course it can, guys. And that's just my opinion. But listen, there's something that a lot of people I've noticed are not really, and I get it, it's from a lack of experience being here. And that is that we're not in altcoin season right now, guys. We're in the beginning phases of Bitcoin starting to do its thing. And Bitcoin has to do its thing before the altcoins can do their thing, right? So while Bitcoin's doing its thing, it will pull altcoins up here and there, as it works its way up. That will happen, okay? But the true altcoin season hasn't even come close to starting yet. And I'm seeing a lot of impatience and people wanting to give up on their projects because they haven't pumped. And it's like, it's not time for them to pump yet. What are you even talking about, right? You are going to see random altcoins popping off and then pulling back as we go, right? But nothing's going up like hundreds and thousands of percentages right now because it's not altcoin season yet, right? Patience is a virtue, guys. I know we're getting close. I know it's difficult. I know it can be, it can definitely be trying because a lot of us have already been waiting for a long ass time as it is, right? So people that generally don't want to anymore, but it's gut check time, guys. It is gut check time. The market looks good. Just be patient. You should be bullish. You should be excited and happy right now, guys. So yeah. All right, let's get into some of the news. How about that? I got a JASMY article to kick off the stream with. Check this out, guys. All right, so JASMY's price eyes a 30% surge as bottoming signs emerge. That rhymed and I didn't mean to. So JASMY's price rose for 2 consecutive days, reaching its highest level since October 24th, as sentiments in the crypto industry improved. JASMY, the popular Japanese token, climbed to an intraday high of 2 cents 2, up by over 23% from its lowest point this week. Very, very nice. This rally aligned with the broader rebound in the crypto market and a shift in the fear and greed index from neutral to the green zone at 62. Traders are anticipating further gains following Donald Trump's presidential election win. JASMY's rise was accompanied by an increase in the future open interest, which surged to over 28.4 milli, the highest since October 25th. This marked a significant increase from the week's low of approximately 2.9 milli. JASMY also jumped because it is often seen as the Japanese alternative to Bitcoin, a crypto coin that surged to record highs of over $75,000 on Wednesday. And if you're wondering why it's considered in Japan an alternative to Bitcoin, it is because it is the only legally regulated crypto in Japan, on top of the fact that it is actually created in Japan. So, market optimism remained as traders looked forward to potential gains in an ex-post. The crypto titan, an analyst with over 14,000 followers, pointed to a possible bullish breakout, citing a bullish pennant pattern. As you can see his tweet here, or his post. JASMY on the daily time frame. JASMY 20% up so far within a single day in a spot. Congratulations to everyone. I already told you yesterday it will make a super bounce as it is a strong demand area. Now anticipating more pump from JASMY as it's currently on the verge of a breakout. As you can see, and on the chart that I showed you guys earlier, a massive break is coming, guys. Meanwhile, there are signs that the JASMY token has started to bottom. On the daily chart, we see that JASMY formed a double bottom pattern at the 1 cent 722 level. In most periods, this is one of the most popular bullish signs in the market. And I'm going to show you right now, before we continue on, what they're talking about here. See, we're talking about a double bottom right here. And I've been pointing out that double bottom for like 2 weeks, right? So we were well aware of that over here on the channel. Continuing on. JASMY is attempting to flip the descending trend line that connects the highest swing on August 28th to October 15th and October 22nd. Additionally, JASMY has risen above the 200-day exponential moving average and is nearing the 50% retracement point. Therefore, the coin will likely continue rising as bulls target the key resistance points at 2 cents 54, the neckline of the double bottom pattern. If this does happen, it means that the coin will rebound by about 30% from current levels. So what do you guys think? Another 30% pump on JASMY in the cards? I'd buy that for $1. Let's frickin' go. Just so you guys know, as always, I will get into the chat after I get through the news, guys. I'm not ignoring you. Hang around. I will get into the chat after, and I will go through all of your comments. So leave your comments, questions, concerns in the chat. I'll get to them. And if you have a altcoin that you want me to look at, put it in as the goal. There's a goal at the top. Put it in, and I will look at your altcoin and give you my price target on whichever project it is that your little heart desires. All right, what else do we got? From NeoSun, all right, the JASMY member, a JASMY member on the PDL feature and one of their patents. Quote, if someone allows company A and company B to use their personal information, company A and company B have access to this data and can work together to assign points to that person. So the two companies essentially can pay you as the person who is providing said data, and they pay you in points. The points they're referring to are DD points, which you convert into JASMY tokens, right? This is a feature that JASMY's PDL, of the JASMY PDL. Additionally, we also patented the technology to lock and store blockchain information stored in plain text. I think the security will continue to improve in the future. That is how the operations work for the PDL. Continuing on that train of thought, guys, we also have another one from NeoSun. He says, JASMY didn't choose Panasonic by chance. And this is what you have to understand, guys. Panasonic, once again, provides right now about 100 million IoT devices. That is the Internet of Things devices connected to the internet, okay? Whether it's home appliances or electronics, whatever it is. And these devices, these IoT devices, they send data back to the PDL, which Junction is able to accumulate. And the more data that gets accumulated through the PDL, the more valuable it becomes, because what they're creating here is a marketplace, a global marketplace for companies to come and get data, which helps them market towards whichever demographic they're targeting, okay? That is the value of it. And also, you might ask, well, what does that have to do with the JASMY token? Well, one feature is that not only do the retail investors have to lock up their JASMY token via the super wallet, but the companies who are trying to operate the PDL to acquire said data to target their demographics also have to lock up JASMY token, taking it out of the circulating supply, which increases the value and the TVL of the ecosystem, right? Hopefully that makes sense. In Japan, Panasonic is the leader in home appliance market and will likely remain so for years to come. JASMY is serious about the ambition to secure every aspect of our connected lives, from the TVs to the fridges and every other device that will connect in the future. Guys, at some point, your freaking toothbrush is going to be an IoT device, okay? It's going to monitor how many strokes you put on your 6th molar in the back, okay, on the top row. All right, so make no mistake about it, IoT is the future. All right, let's get into some video action. I know you guys love that video action from Lark Davis. Retail is sleeping while institutions are stacking.
We're so close to previous high prices. So that's the black line on the chart there. That's the price. Whereas the green line on the chart is basically attention. So this is Google results for Bitcoin. Nobody's looking up Bitcoin these days. Retail, completely not interested. Maybe that goes back to our only 12,000 jobs created last month. Anyway, regardless, retail sleeping on crypto right now. Yeah, they're playing around with memes and stuff like that, but generally when markets get really crazy, you'll see Bitcoin getting a lot of attention in Google searches, which is not happening right now, especially a massive divergence considering what the price is doing. This is an institutional fueled run up to this point, but retail will come when we start breaking into new highs.
That's exactly it, guys, is that retail hasn't even shown up yet, guys. You don't even understand. Most of you that are new to crypto, you don't even know what's coming. It's going to hit like a tsunami, and you're not even going to know what the hell happened. You're going to be like, where did this come from? You're just going to wake up one day very, very soon, as soon as Bitcoin's done doing its thing. I remember in 2020, 2021, when Bitcoin and Ethereum both started to run simultaneously, they started going crazy. Nobody saw it coming. It was eerily similar. The sentiment in the market was eerily similar to what it is now, right? And I remember watching all the big content creators, BitBoy and all that stuff, and everyone was like, whoa, we're going, man. We're going. Every day it was up hundreds and hundreds. Everything was right. Then altcoins started to go nuts. I specifically remember, you remember little things, you know what I mean? And I remember a period, a stretch where XRP and Cardano ran at the exact same time, and they were running like crazy. They were the two leaders at the time, and everyone was like, why are these two projects running together like this? It's weird because they're not the same at all. But I remember it like it was yesterday. It was an amazing time, guys, and it's coming again. We are so close. The sentiment in the market feels the same. right? It feels eerily similar. It's like no one sees, like people see it coming, but they at the same time they don't see it coming. It's crazy, right? And it's right around the corner. Vivek says strong rumors that some nation states have already added Bitcoin to their reserves, announcing soon. Tighten your seatbelts. And this is a discussion we had over on the Patreon earlier today. We do group Zoom calls over there, and we were discussing what is the most impactful aspect of the Trump victory on crypto and Bitcoin, right? It was a very good discussion, guys. Get over there and join it. We record these things and we put them over there, so go watch it over on the Patreon. The link is down below. So for me, one of the biggest factors here is that we have nations, guys. As soon as Trump won the election, just today on the live stream this morning, I showed the news in China was covering the fact that Trump was putting Bitcoin as a strategic asset reserve, right? So I'm telling you, China's going to start doing it. Russia's going to start doing it. What do you think is going to happen to that supply of Bitcoin, okay? In circulation, it's going to diminish to nothing. And I'm going to tell you something right now. There's a projected 20% of Bitcoin that's lost forever, okay? 20% lost forever because of people passing away, losing the keys to their wallets, Satoshi's wallet, right? All that stuff it's gone forever, okay? So 21 million, okay? 21 million minus 20%. That leaves us, when Bitcoin is 100% mined out of supply, 16,800,000 Bitcoin. That's it. That's all there is, guys. People say 21 million. 20% of that's gone forever, okay? The governments are starting to scoop it up. MicroStrategy, MetaPlanet, scooping it up. After December 9th, Microsoft scooping it up. Shortly after Microsoft, you're going to see companies like Apple scooping it up. There's not going to be none left for you and me, guys, okay? Listen, in January, and I showed you guys this like last week, in January, there was about 400,000 Bitcoin OTC, okay? And then the day before yesterday, I showed you, now there's only between 110 and 130 Bitcoin left OTC, right? That means that these institutions will no longer be able to purchase Bitcoin over the counter. If you want to know what over the counter means, OTC, again, I did a video breaking it down, what that means in great detail over on the Patreon. Go check that out, guys. So, but to sum it up quickly, what it means is that when they buy OTC, it doesn't affect the price of Bitcoin, okay? However, if there's no more Bitcoin to purchase OTC, that means they have to buy it the same place you and I buy it, on exchanges. And when that happens, they have to buy it at spot value, which means the price is going to go through the frickin' roof, okay? If you want a great detailed breakdown of that, get over to the Patreon, guys, and you will understand what I'm talking about, okay? I got to jump to a couple of super chats here, guys. Isaac, what's up, brother? Conservative price for Pith and Algorand, please. If you want your predictions, I want to see if my prediction. Honestly, Pith, at the end of the day, man, let me go to Pith here real quick first. I am mega bullish on Pith. By the way, guys, I do hold Pith for full transparency. But Pith is going to be, it's a great pickup, guys. All right, so the all-time high on Pith, yeah, it was $1.20, man. Pith, honestly, you know, over on Solana, I think the Solana ecosystem is going to continue to do fantastic. I mean, I would not be shocked to see closer to between like an $11 to $14 Pith at this point. I was thinking around $9 to $10, but you know, the Solana ecosystem is getting bigger and bigger. I really do think that Solana is going to get that ETF at some point soon, especially now that we're going to have a more friendly head at the SEC. See how all these things are like breadcrumbs, like a domino effect on everything else, right? So that's really going to help a lot more liquidity come in. So Pith is also VC backed. So yes, I do believe Pith could make it anywhere between $11 to $14, and that's me being very conservative too, guys. Okay. Legend of Alexander. Oh, sorry, I skipped out on Algorand. Sorry, brother. My target for Algorand remains the same. I think Algorand around $5 is perfectly reasonable. That's roughly where I will get out of Algorand. Just because, like, I don't see it. I'm very bullish. I think they're going to continue to develop through the next bear markets and continue to grow. You might see a $10, $11 Algorand in 2029, but for now, somewhere around $4 to $5 is where I would kind of place things. So picking it up, it's only got just over $1 billion market cap, right? It's barely got a higher market cap than JASMY right now. It's still early on Algorand, despite the fact that it was around in the last cycle. They have done a lot to develop. Their marketing is better in this cycle. So they're definitely going to do big things. I just covered over the last couple of days, they're getting into DeFi staking over there as well. That's going to be huge because the TVL in Algorand's ecosystem is going to go through the roof. Okay, it's going to be phenomenal. I think Algorand's going to do great things for sure in this bull run. Legend of Alexander, did you look into SD? It went crazy today. Can you do another price analysis on Rare? Yes, SD. I actually was looking at it earlier this morning. Oh, I went to the wrong one. Sorry. I'm actually considering doing a video on it for you, to be honest with you, because I know you have your eye on it. Look at that. It's up to $1.12 now, 31% up. Man, you brought this to me when it was like, we're like down here somewhere, right? We were down at like 80 cents or something. $1.12 now, man. It's, where's that dip or where's that pump? Look at that pump. This pump right here is where you brought it to me, right? You're like right here and it pumped up and you're like, what happened? Now look at that now. You called a good one, Alexander. You called a good one, man. I dig it, brother. I dig it. You told me, yes, 45 cents. That's right. Right. Yes. Yeah, right around here, because this was the jump, right? That you were like, what the hell happened? And now look how high it's gone, man. You definitely nailed that one. It got as high as $1.35. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Market cap is still reasonably low too. It's only got a $52 million market cap. This one's going to continue to send. It might have a little bit of a correction if Bitcoin corrects, but absolutely, man. I mean, I'm going to say like $3 to $5 at this point. If you got in earlier, $3 to $5 coming up in maybe Q1 of next year. That's not the peak. That's just, going into next year, the Q1. I could completely see that happening on this, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you got into this one around 45 cents, I think you said you did, that you got into it early, right? I would continue to hold this for dear life, man. I really, really would, brother. And Rare, that's right. We looked at Rare the other day too, didn't we? Super Rare, yeah, 12 cents, down 3%. $86 million market cap. That's right. Tokenomics on this are absolutely fantastic. Only got a 1 billion max supply, 71% in circulation. It's having a bit of a cool off right now today. I would say that this is a perfect time to actually kind of scoop some up if it was me. All-time high of $3.64. Given the tokenomics on it, I think it's going to destroy that, to be honest with you. It's got its good listings, right? Binance, Coinbase, Kraken. So liquidity is going to be able to flow into this without any kind of a problem, right? So yes, definitely. I might actually scoop some of this up myself, to be honest with you. Given that if it corrects a little further, if it corrects down maybe another 7%, get it down about 10% on the day, I might actually scoop some up because yeah, this is another good play, man. You got a good eye, brother. You got a good eye for this stuff. So yeah. All right, let's get back into the news. Guys, just so you know, if you have any other, if you have a token you want me to look at, you want me to give you a price prediction on or anything, guys, check out the goal in the chat, and I will get to your, I'll jump to your altcoin right away. So check it out. Okay, where were we now? Yes, we were talking Bitcoin. All right, Stuart Alderati. Stuart says, John, a staunch SEC supporter, has the class to say the people have spoken. Gensler and his anti-crypto minions should voluntarily stand down, or, as John explains, the SEC's new chair, when appointed, will use the agency's internal mechanisms to remove them. Either way, it's over. It's over, Gary. It's over. Now, that being said, in the meantime, the question remains, is Gary Gensler now going to start behaving like a bull in a china shop, where he just starts smashing everything he possibly can before he walks out the door? Don't be surprised if Gary starts doing this with lawsuits, wasting taxpayer money, filing as many as he possibly can before he gets thrown out of the door. This next 72 days might be very, very busy talking about lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, right? Gary's not going to stop. I think he's going to intensify things, and it's going to get, but here's the catch though. People don't care. People don't care anymore, Gary, right? Nobody cares. It used to be when he filed his lawsuit against Ripple, tanked, torpedoed the price, and the market went down. Now, Gary sends out a Wells notice or a lawsuit. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody cares, right? They're like, oh, look, Gary filed a lawsuit. Gary filed another lawsuit that he's going to lose. That's why nobody cares, because he loses every lawsuit that he files. So it's laughable. Going on to Lark Davis says, can we hit $80,000 today? I was hoping so, but I don't know at this point. I mean, we're sitting at 75,700. I thought we might be a little bit more volatile today, given that we had the FOMC meeting today, but turns out not really. So, I mean, what are you going to do, right? All right, so guys, like, listen, this is, as a Canadian, I have a lot of hope that Trump is going to have a strong influence on our dictatorship up here where I live in the Great White North, okay? So listen to this. I know that he cares about us.
The tyranny we have witnessed in Canada in recent weeks should shock and dismay people all over the world. In an advanced Western democracy, the peaceful movement of patriotic truckers, workers, and families protesting for their most basic rights and liberties has been violently put down. Their assets and life savings have been frozen. They have been slandered as Nazis, racists, and terrorists. These are the names they've been called. They've been arrested and charged with phony crimes. They've been falsely accused of loyalty to foreign powers. I watched them. I saw those maple leafs all over the flags and the love for their country. Plenty of Americans were there too, and they love our country. They're being hunted down like enemies of their own government and treated worse than drug dealers and murderers or rapists. A line has been crossed. You're either with the peaceful truckers or you are with the left-wing fascists. And that's what's been happening. And it's been a strong line. We stand with the truckers and we stand with the Canadian people in their noble quest to reclaim their freedom. Thank you.
There's something you guys got to understand, is that while a lot of you felt that Trump was your last hope, he's our last hope too, right? He's our last hope too, guys. So that's why all of Canada has been pulling for him, right? We've been hoping the same thing. There's something else I wanted to show you in relation to that. So again, this kind of piggybacks off of that. Tulsi Gabbard with no punches pulled in her assessment of the aristocrat Justin Trudeau.
Basically, what they're telling us is you are an enemy of the state if you dare to oppose or even question the president, his administration, or his policies. Shut up, step back, fall in line, or we're coming after you. This isn't some theory. This is reality. And this is a reality we're seeing play out in Canada as we speak. You have the autocratic leader in Canada who's resorted to genuinely authoritarian and tyrannical means to suppress a peaceful mass protest against the power elite there. Everything that we see happening up north, everything from the execution of emergency powers to the freezing of bank accounts, the seizure of children from parents, the destruction of livelihoods and small businesses, all of these things could happen here. So the question I ask myself in confronting all this is, what are they so afraid of? Who are they afraid of? You know the answer. It's simple. They're afraid of us. They're afraid of a free people. They're afraid of a free society. I've got to believe that Thomas Jefferson was thinking about these cowardly, fearful leaders when he said they prefer the calm of despotism to the boisterous sea of liberty. They're afraid of the freedom that empowers each and every one of us to seek the truth, to speak freely, to question their decisions and their authority. They're afraid of losing power, knowing full well the intent of our founders when they wrote in the Declaration of Independence that governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, and that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it's the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute a new government.
Yep, 100%. 100%, guys. It's not so great up here as you may think. Eleanor Tourette, SEC Commissioner Mark Ueda, backs Trump's plan to end the crypto crackdown. Ueda, who will likely be Donald Trump's acting SEC governor, SEC chair, says on the path forward would be to pause new enforcement actions against firms that have failed to register. So he's going to put a stop to attacking crypto, essentially, right? A stop to filing all of these lawsuits, which are absolutely ridiculous. What do we got? Bitcoin price surge causes mass losses for whales during the U.S. election. What the heck? Let's get into it. During the U.S. presidential election, a significant increase in Bitcoin prices led to substantial losses for the cryptocurrency investor. The blockchain tracking firm Locked On Chain reported that a whale who opened a short position on Bitcoin lost approximately $75 million. As an election results became clearer, Bitcoin reached new record levels. So this guy shorted with $75 million. He shorted Bitcoin and got liquidated. Could you imagine losing $75 million in one leverage trade? Wow. When the election results were announced, Bitcoin's prices surged rapidly due to Donald Trump's gain throughout the day. Bitcoin surpassed its previous all-time high, surprising many investors. This increase created an unexpected shift in market dynamics. Subsequently, the upward trend in Bitcoin's prices continued in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin reached an all-time high of $76,849. Furthermore, at the time of writing, it is still finding buyers around $76,000. Locked On Chain indicated that significant cash outflows occurred in Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs on election day. Fidelity's ETF and BTC's ETF experienced the highest outflows among other ETFs. This suggests that investors are beginning to convert their bullish expectations into cash. At the time of writing, Bitcoin is trading around $76,000, while Ethereum has risen to $28,090. It's 2,890, sorry, not 28,090, showing an increase of over 7%. These increases indicate that market fluctuations are ongoing. The substantial cash outflow from Fidelity's Bitcoin and Ethereum's ETF signal that investors are reassessing their large positions. This situation hints at the continued volatility in the cryptocurrency markets. So this guy got liquidated for $75 million. My God, that must have stung. Ooh. All right, what else is going on? Take 2 minutes and change your family's future. Former CEO of Sotheby's, a man who made a living understanding value, explains why Bitcoin is going much higher.
I can sell you a $20 million painting, but I can't tell you why a piece of code is money. That's an interesting paradox. So that was the journey. And so I dove deep and began to question what is money exactly? I thought it was currency. I was wrong. And then what creates value? Why do things have value? What is it about us that ascribes value to things? And then I literally went down a rabbit hole, and it's actually not too far off what Michael Saylor or some of these people talk about, do 100 to 1,000 hours on it. And you really dive into podcasts and dive into the books and ask yourself, go on an intellectual journey about what does all this stuff mean and why is it important? And then there's startling insights that I have now at age 59 that I didn't have at age 57 that came from this journey. You want an example? I didn't realize that if the average year the money printer goes, call it 8 to 10%, even in the Western countries, even in the OECD nations, and the average return on the S&P 500 is, call it 9-ish%, including dividends, maybe 9.7, maybe a little less, that it means that all of the work of the S&P 500, all of the value created there is actually the money printer. That to me was startling. I mean, to think about that, the fundamental notion that in a closed system or even an open system, when you're printing money at the rate of 8 to 10% a year, everything is losing value, and the things that appear to be gaining value are not gaining value.
So what he's saying, guys, if you didn't catch that, is that the S&P 500, at whichever party is in power, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, will always point to it and say, well, look at the S&P 500, it's doing so well. Well, it's doing so well, it's kind of like a masked, thing, because what's happening is all the money that they're printing off, they're injecting that liquidity into things like the S&P 500. So while the S&P 500 is going up and it's like, oh, look, money's pouring into the S&P 500, this must reflect investor confidence. It doesn't actually work that way. It's money being printed off and put into the S&P 500, which is actually lowering your purchasing power on your money you're holding, right? So it's a misleading thing when you see any politician say, well, look at the S&P 500. Well, it's only pumping because you're injecting money into it, right? So, these little things that it's hard for people who are just getting into investing for them to understand these concepts, right? They just see these metrics and go, oh, that's a good thing. Not necessarily. The pumping of the S&P 500 might just mean that you're losing purchasing power in a very rapid pace.
They're just keeping you even. So you can put all your money in the S&P 500 and you're not gaining any relative wealth at all.
Unbelievable, eh? Unbelievable. The more you know, the more you know, right? What else do we? Oh, let's get into this article here. Trump vows to change the SEC leadership for crypto. Gary Gensler, the current chair of the SEC, has drawn ire from many in the cryptocurrency space during his tenure, which has spanned 4 years. His policies have been perceived as detrimental not just to the individual investor, but also to the US-based crypto enterprises. Former President Donald Trump has pledged to remove Gensler if he is elected again, promising significant change for the crypto landscape. Pump has notably shifted his perspective on cryptocurrency, garnering strong backing from crypto supporters in recent polls. This change in attitude is believed to have played a critical role in his recent electoral success over rival Kamala Harris. And here's the thing, guys. I've seen a lot of people asking the question, well, what if he doesn't follow through on his commitment to crypto? Listen, the vice president, and I talked about this morning, elect, right? J.D. Vance holds hundreds of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Trump literally has his own crypto project. These two guys are literally in crypto themselves, okay? What does that tell you? That shows me they're putting their money where their mouth is, right? Should Pump reclaim the presidency, which he did, Gensler's position is expected to be under threat. Historically, significant changes in administration have led to the resignations of leaders in key roles, such as the SEC. If Gensler does not vacate his role voluntarily, Trump may push for his resignation or appoint someone else to take over. Speculation surrounds potential successors to Gensler, as with Dan Gallagher, currently Robinhood's chief legal officer, emerging as a front runner. Gallagher's background in a crypto engaged company positions him uniquely to understand the industry's challenges, albeit he may not need to align with the crypto firm given the SEC's past treatment of them. With Gallagher's strong candidacy and recent endorsements from Trump's press secretary, the coming weeks are expected to bring clarity on the new SEC leadership. Very, very bullish, guys. I cannot freaking wait. What else do we got? Oh, yes, we had Powell today speaking. Check this out from Yahoo Finance.
So it's hard to characterize a really interesting set of discussions we had, and of course you'll see them in the minutes in 3 weeks. But I would say this: I think the comments from our Reserve Bank colleagues and from the CEOs that they talk to are pretty constructive on the economy right now. Pretty constructive, feeling that the labor market is back to normal, to the point where it's no longer that much a discussion topic in their worlds, whereas 2 years ago it was all they were talking about. So they feel like the labor market's in balance. People feel good about where the economy is. Demand is obviously pretty strong, and you're seeing 2.8% growth in the third quarter estimated. Maybe the year's 2.5%. This is a strong economy. It's actually remarkable how well the U.S. economy has been performing with strong growth, a strong labor market, inflation coming down. We're really performing better than any of our global peers, and I think that is reflected in what you hear from what I hear people hear from CEOs. I don't get to talk to a lot of CEOs in my job, but I hear what others summarize from those, and of course I hear the Reserve Bank presidents do a lot of that, and it's pretty constructive overall. Now, that's not to say there are areas of caution and things like that, but ultimately, overall, pretty positive.
Well, to follow up the areas of caution, if there were black clouds on the horizon that you identified as something you're watching, what would they be?
I think it's things like it clearly geopolitical risks around the world are elevated, and just as clearly they've had relatively little effect on the U.S. economy. Now, that can change through the price of oil or otherwise, but people talk about those as, something that's on the horizon all the time. But, ultimately, if you look at the U.S. economy, its performance has been very good. And that's what we hear from business people, and expectation that will continue. If anything, people feel next year, I've heard this from several people, that next year could even be stronger than this year.
Nice. Let's keep those rate cuts coming, brother. Let's keep those rate cuts coming. We got some more on the political side. Fox News reporter calls out cringe Jean-Pierre for asking when the rhetoric will end against Trump.
As Gabe mentioned, this administration message to millions of Americans that they're going to wake up the day after the election if Trump won and have their rights stripped away, that democracy would crumble, and the president said today we're going to be okay. So how do you square that?
I can't square that. I'm going to square that in a way that hopefully makes sense, because I've been answering this question multiple times. The American people made the decision. There was an election 2 nights ago. There was. And it was a free and fair election. And we respect the election process. We do. And Americans spoke. And so the job of the president is to make sure we respect that. The job of the president is to make sure that we have a peaceful transfer of power. That is what the American people deserve. And that's what we're going to, it's really, it's not complicated. It's truly as simple as that. As simple as that. The president called the president-elect, invited him to the White House. You know why? Because that's customary. That is customary. That is what you do. If you respect what the American people decided, that's what you do. And that's what the president's going to make sure that the Trump transition has what it needs.
That's not what she asked.
Which is being led, obviously, by our chief of staff here.
She said, when's the rhetoric going to end?
Because the president wants to lead by example. It's not complicated. It really isn't. And, that's important.
Example is the message to people who are fearful based on what the messaging was about the state.
Well, now you're just twisting everything around, and that's really unfair. No, it is. No, Jackie, it's unfair, because I've been standing here trying to be very respectful to what happened the last 2 nights ago. Being respectful. I've been standing here saying that we respect the decision that the American people made. I've been standing here and saying that the president's going to put the American people first. I've been standing here talking about how the president's going to make sure that they get what they deserve, which is a peaceful transfer of power. I do not appreciate having my words twisted. That is, I am being very clear, very clear about what the president wants to do, and the vice president. We want to make sure that we deliver for the American people. They deserve a peaceful transfer of power, and that's what you're going to see. Thanks, everybody.
So basically, the rhetoric won't end, is what she's saying, right? They're going to keep it up. Speaking of that, let's see what Biden had to say. Biden actually spoke today about it, so let's see what he had to say.
Yeah, it's good to see you all. Particularly good to see my granddaughter sitting in the front row here. Hi, Finn. How are you, honey? For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole. That's a fact. We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve. Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice President Harris. She's been a partner and a public servant. She ran an inspiring campaign, and everyone got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character. She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character, true character. She gave her whole heart and effort, and she and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran. The struggle for the soul of America, since our very founding, has always been an ongoing debate and still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss. Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree. Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Bring down the temperature. I also hope we can lay to rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent. And it can be trusted, win or lose. I also hope we can restore the respect for all our election workers who busted their necks and took risks at the outset. We should thank them. Thank them for staffing voting sites, counting the votes, protecting the very integrity of the election. Many of them are volunteers who do it simply out of love for their country. And as they did their duty as citizens, I will do my duty as president. I'll fulfill my oath, and I will honor the Constitution. On January 20th, we'll have a peaceful transfer of power here in America. To all our incredible staff, supporters, cabinet members, all the people who've been hanging out with me for the last 40 years, God love you, as my mother would say. Thank you so much. You put so much into the past 4 years. I know it's a difficult time.
Later, sucker. That's how we gonna do. Let's listen to Trump on Bitcoin.
Who knows, maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand him a little crypto check, right? We'll hand him a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
But how do you want it to be more prominent in America? How will that work?
Oh, it's going to work easily. It's already prominent. It's moving along. It's very loosely regulated. That's one of the reasons it's moving along. But it is a different form of a currency, and it's going to end up benefiting the country. But if we shut it down, like, Biden's trying to shut it down, Biden doesn't have the intellect to shut it down. Can you imagine this guy's telling you to shut something down like that? He has no idea what the hell it is. But if we don't embrace it, it's going to be embraced by other people. It's a massive thing already. Did you read where it's bigger than any company in the world already? I mean, if you look at the market, it's bigger than many countries. It's a very big thing. If we're not going to be the leader, we have the people that are the leaders. I know some of them. They're very smart. And if we don't embrace it, other countries are going to embrace it. Other countries will anyway. But we can be the leader, and we might as well be the leader.
Yes, lead. That is how it's done, man. That is how it's done. That's the attitude you got to have. Let's listen to Elizabeth Warren as she responds to Trump's win. She's coping.
I will not ask you to look for any silver linings. I will not ask you to feel anything but grief right now. Donald Trump won the election, and the consequences will be real and devastating.
Consequences mean she no longer has power inside the White House. She no longer is going to control the SEC and be able to wield it as a weapon. Those are the consequences to her that are devastating.
But I'm reminding myself and you that on the road ahead, there will still be opportunities to fight back. I can't tell you that we will win all of those fights. I can't tell you that we will win most or even any of them.
She's
defanged. But when we arrive at each of those moments, we will face a choice to give up or to press forward. The far right wants us to feel powerless. Extremists are counting on apathy, cynicism, heartbreak, or all of the above as their rocket fuel. They are counting on us to point fingers at each other and to lose trust in our ability to ever make change. I absolutely refuse to give them that satisfaction. We will continue to fight for each other. Look, 8 years ago, in the dark days when Republicans took full power in Washington, I thought the Affordable Care Act would be gone with the snap of a finger. But the American people rose up. Activists like the late amazing Adi Barkan and countless others put their bodies on the line, quite literally. They made their voices heard. They saved healthcare for millions of families, and they paved the way for us to expand healthcare in the past few years. And a grassroots movement against far-right control took back the House in 2018 and the White House in 2020 and the Senate in 2021. Don't let anyone tell you that those victories didn't make a real difference. More people could afford to go to the doctor and fill a prescription. More people could go to work. More parents could afford to put food on the table for their kids and buy new coats for them in the winter. Lives were saved. As the far right works to roll back what we've achieved, they'll hope that we don't have the stomach to push back anymore. But we can choose to prove them wrong. We need each other. We take care of each other. And please take care of yourself. Take the time you need right now to be angry, hurt, confused. Hold your loved ones close. Find opportunities to be in community with others this week. Take social media breaks. Foster your connections. Make new ones. Reach out to someone that you've lost touch with. Tell them that you're with them no matter what lies ahead. If the work you do makes a difference for just one person, that would be enough.
Yeah, that's enough. All right. You've said it. That is enough. Oh, man. What else do we got?
No, I'm going to speak some hard truths to my friends in the Democratic Party. This is not Joe Biden's fault. It's not Kamala Harris's fault. It's not Barack Obama's fault. It is the fault of the Democratic Party in not knowing how to communicate effectively to voters. We are not the party of common sense, which is what the message that voters sent to us. For a number of reasons. We don't know how to speak to voters. When we address Latino, and language has meaning. When we address Latino voters as Latinx, for instance, because that's the politically correct thing to do. It makes them think that we don't even live on the same planet as they do. When we are too afraid to say that, hey, college kids, if you're trashing a campus at Columbia University because you're unhappy about some sort of policy and you're taking over a university, and you're trashing it and preventing other students from learning, that is unacceptable. But we're so worried about alienating one or another cohort in our coalition that we don't know what to say when normal people look at that and say, wait a second, I send my kids to college so they can learn, not so that they can burn buildings and trash lawns, right? And so on and so forth. When we put pronouns after names and say she, her, as opposed to saying, you know what, if I call you by the wrong pronoun, call me out, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. But stop with the virtue signaling and just speak to people like they're normal. There's nothing I'm going to say to Shermichael that I'm not going to say to you, that I'm not going to say to somebody else. I speak the same language to everybody. But that's not what Democrats do. We constantly try to parse out different ways of speaking to different cohorts because our focus groups or our polling shows that so-and-so appeals to such and such. That's not how normal people think. It's not common sense. And we need to start being the party of common sense again. Joe Biden is not responsible for that. Neither is Kamala Harris. It is a problem that Democrats have had for years. I've been banging the drum on this for, I don't know how, probably 10 years, if not longer on this. We need to get back to being the party of common sense, that people look at us and say, we understand you. We appreciate what you say because you speak our language. And until we do that, we should stop blaming other people for our own mistakes.
Basically, she says, stop being fake. Right? Stop being fake. Let's check in on Crypto, guys. This nutball, I mean, he's made a fortune, but he's wacky. He's wacky.
Today for the Bitcoin price. And yes, guys, this Bitcoin pattern, which I am about to show you right now, This Bitcoin chart will break the internet. I have crazy news for you. Let's go straight into it. And if you like these very short condensed videos on Twitter, on X as well, like, repost, that's it. If we are hitting more likes and reposts than usually on this video, I will soon make a top altcoin video showing you exactly my holdings and what altcoins I am looking at right now. Let's go straight into the content. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about my 12 million US dollar Bitcoin trade still open with the Ethereum trade and some altcoin trades, of course. We will talk about all of that. Now let's talk about the exact price targets, which I am looking out for right now, something I've not been doing for quite some time. And before I am doing so, I wanted to shed your light on this video here. I uploaded it on YouTube. It's a little bit longer form. I am sharing some detailed information. I want to urge you to go over to YouTube to watch that one as well. And before I'm going over here into the chart and telling you exactly what price levels I am looking out for right now, I want you to shed your attention over to this one here, because many people are asking me, well, I can't use Bybit in United States. Then most of the exchange not only negotiated a big bonus for you, it's without KYC, without any restrictions, free for all. And the link, let me quickly go down here. The link for signing up on that exchange is below this video here on Twitter. Just click and register. It is easy as it can get. You just click on sign up, then you click on the email address, you enter your password. That's it. You have the account. Link is down below. And only with my link, you are getting these beautiful bonuses, as you can see here, which tells you exactly, if you click it, you will see it, how much bonus you get for what deposit. And this is transparency, which was a long time needed, because these deposit bonuses, they are usually hard to get, not in this case. So you can see here, Bitcoin needs to close a weekly candle outside above this resistance. The moment we are doing so, I want to tell you exactly what my next price level is. I will talk only about the next price target, not eventually about my price target for this year. You will find that one over on YouTube in the full video. But here you can already see the next price level is, yes, pretty much exactly 83 to 84,000 US dollars, around the 1.272 Fibonacci extension level. If you want to see my eventual price target for that year, go over to YouTube, the YouTube channel. You already know it. Watch the full video. But this was already a very, very important one here for Twitter on X. Like and repost. We will see each other very soon at the next one. As always, guys, as always, bye.
Most of what he said weren't even words, but we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it, guys. All right, we got some more from Yahoo Finance. Do it now. What are you waiting for?
Well, there are a lot of names out there floating, and people are scrambling to make sure that they're, on the list one way or another, because that could help their private sector fees go up if they're rumored. But I think for the Secretary of State and Defense Department, there are a lot of the same names that we've seen kicked around. Mike Pompeo would be potential Secretary of Defense. You've got Lindsey Graham, Senator Graham, Tom Cotton from Missouri, Senator Cotton, and the other Senator from Missouri, Josh Hawley, are talked about as potential defense secretaries, or even secretaries of state. Rick Grinnell, who's become very, very close to the Trump family, former director of national intelligence, acting director, I should say, former U.S. ambassador to Germany, is someone who's also looked at. He's been kind of playing envoy for Donald Trump through this whole campaign. So Rick Grinnell is another potential in that space. There are other interesting people out there, like Bob Lighthizer, who was Donald Trump's U.S. trade representative, might be Treasury Secretary, or John Paulson, famous from the long short. He made zillions of dollars during the subprime crisis, and is someone who put a lot of money behind Donald Trump. So I could keep going like that, but those are some of the names that are percolating in my space.
How likely do you think it is that we'll see Elon Musk among the cabinet members?
Look, I think Elon is in a complicated position. For him to get a Senate confirmed position, I think he'd have to pretty much divest himself from a lot of his assets that define him, like SpaceX, like Tesla. And I think, I think that the money is more on Elon getting a kind of advisory role, that it really, the power of those kind of roles is dependent upon your relationship with the President of the United States, not necessarily how formal your role is within this. So I think it's highly unlikely and probably he would face a lot of interesting confirmation hurdles if he was to go through that process. So I think he'll be in a more advisory role, but he'll have power because Donald Trump listens to him.
Speaking of Elon Musk, Shai, I want to bring you into the conversation because one of the, seems like at least on Elon Musk's agenda would be cutting spending. He talked about the fact that he wanted to cut $2 trillion out of spending. He posted the picture on Twitter yesterday with the kitchen sink, very reminiscent of what we saw after he took over Twitter. I'm curious from your perspective, just first, let's just start with what Musk has laid out. $2 trillion in spending to cut, obviously that's a heck of a lot. How realistic are some of these goals?
Yeah, so making spending more efficient in the federal government is certainly an admirable goal. The challenge will be that most of the spending that we do from the federal government is on autopilot. So this is things like the mandatory spending programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, net interest costs, the interest that we pay on the federal debt. You can't cut that. That is money that we owe to the other countries and investors that are lending us money. So when you cut it down to, or when you boil it down to the portion of the budget that is renewed on an annual basis that goes to discretionary accounts, you're talking about less than 15% of the overall budget. Even if you eliminated that entire part of the federal spending, which encompasses most government agencies, you would not solve our fiscal challenges that we have today. So our focus is going to need to be more expansive than that to get ourselves on a sustainable fiscal path. That said, I do think there is room for looking at those government agencies and finding places to save.
Where do you think would make the most sense?
Well, I actually think we need to be focused on the other parts because those are the bigger pieces, and the tax side of the equation too, which obviously will rear its head next year with the expiration of many of the tax cuts from 2017. Next year is really an inflection point on fiscal policy. We know that there are going to be moments where legislators and then the executive branch in partnership with them are going to have to confront this topic. There's the debt limit that's going to be reinstated on January 2nd. That will kick off a series of negotiations around that issue. There's the appropriations process, which we still have not finished for the fiscal year that has already begun as of a month ago. That's likely to carry over into next year. And then the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act provisions expire at the end of 2025. Those debates are going to go throughout the year, and we have an opportunity to have the two parties work together to make progress on these critical issues that will affect the future of our fiscal policy and our economy. But there's also a chance that things go south and we keep digging the hole deeper. If that happens, excuse me, we could be in for a rude awakening among markets who are already showing that they are losing patience with our inability to deal with our fiscal challenges.
Steve, I'm curious just to get your thoughts on the turnout that we saw when it comes to the election, what that really signals about the Democratic Party going forward. Clearly, there has been the talk or the narrative, at least yesterday, we were talking to so many political strategists and even economists. They were talking about the fact that there's clearly a frustration here with where things stand with the economy. In terms of some of the policies that Trump has laid out, is there a risk then, so let's be careful what you wish for, inflation could actually get a lot worse under a second Trump term?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true depending on how they shape things like tariffs that Donald Trump talks a lot about and whether they become so widespread, you're essentially, raising costs and prices 10% across the board in the consumer sector. But I think that the bottom line is the Democratic Party lost big. This is a huge win for Donald Trump. He has a real mandate to figure out what he wants to do. And I think in that space, when it comes down to the working class of America, they feel abandoned, demeaned, I think left behind by a lot of the sectors that were supportive. Really both parties. I mean, I think the New York, kind of financial world was one that many Americans feel was working against them as working Americans rather than for them. So there's been a huge shift away from the Democratic Party of the working class of America towards Donald Trump. And I think he's got to figure out, that's one of the reasons why I think he talks a lot about tariffs, because that will create some protection for industries that might be building nascent manufacturing capacity, expanding jobs. But also immigration is about the working class to some degree. If they can, shut down a lot of the immigration, particularly from the southern border, that will help put upward pressure on wages of those workers.
Also, just in, guys, this just came in, okay? We have more comments from Biden finding out that Kamala Harris actually lost the election. He just found out about it.
You know how much I sacrificed?
I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. What else do we got? SEC seeks dismissal of key Kraken defense in ongoing legal battle. The U.S. SEC, the U.S. securities regulator, the SEC, has recently sought to heighten the legal tussle with Kraken, a San Francisco-based crypto exchange, by filing a plea to dismiss some of the exchange's defenses, including fair notice and major questions doctrine. The motion was filed in the Northern District of Court of California. Its goal is to minimize further legal proceedings and prohibit the investigation of the SEC's practices. From a tweet from Michael O'Connor, last night, while Americans exercised their sovereign rights to choose their political figure, Gensler's disputes at the SEC filed a motion seeking judgment in the Kraken case on defense. So Gary's trying to do things under the radar, right? Kraken replied by suggesting that it had never received adequate guidance from the regulators regarding its activities and that the SEC's enforcement actions were inappropriate and unclear. This is an important legal approach based on the arguments that outstanding regulatory measures should not be implemented if Congress had not approved them by endorsing the major questions doctrine. The SEC's filing asserts that Kraken was adequately informed about the securities clarifications of its crypto assets, describing the exchange's claims of regulatory ambiguity as baseless by aiming to curtail the scope of discovery. The SEC hopes to expedite the legal process and conserve resources. This move follows a pattern observed in the Ripple case, where the SEC's similar motions were not upheld, suggesting a potentially challenging path ahead in its efforts against Kraken. Michael O'Connor, representing Kraken, has criticized the timing of the SEC's motion coinciding with significant political developments as a strategic move to solidify the current administration's regulatory framework ahead of a potential shift in leadership following the recent presidential election. This aspect highlights the broader industry's call for more transparent and consistent regulatory guidelines, particularly as the U.S. sees a transition in government that could influence future SEC policies. The lawsuit against Kraken has raised much controversy over regulating cryptocurrencies in the United States. The exchange has requested a jury trial to address SEC's allegations of operating as an unregistered securities exchange involving popular cryptos like Solana, Cardano, and Polygon Matic. I think Kraken stands a much better chance in front of a jury of their peers, convincing them that the SEC is acting inappropriately, right? So we will see what happens there. Let's check in on Bitcoin and JASMY again before we get into the chat. So Bitcoin hovering at 75,700, almost 75,800. Not too bad, not too bad. JASMY hasn't changed much either, just kind of hovering here, hoping to retest the 200-day SMA as support. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get into the chat, see what everybody's talking about here. Scroll all the way back up, all the way back up. All right, WF Capital, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Holmes in the house. Jerry, what's up, man? Yes, sir. JASMY to the moon. Absolutely, brother. Guys, as always, make sure that you're hitting the like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow immensely, and it would mean the world to me. Okay? Nacho, here I just wanted to say have a great evening, and everyone, I'm currently dashing, but we'll be listening to the live. Nice, Nacho. Drive safe, brother. Drive safe, my friend. Isaac, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Squirt Reynolds in the house. He's lurking, perping and lurking. Jetpack, power to the people. Funky, what's up, buddy? Almost there. Diamond Balls, man. It's been a minute. Where you been, bro? To the moon. Keep an eye on Doge. Yes, on ETH. Yeah, I've been kind of keeping one eye on that, man. Good call. Lord of the Realm, what's up, buddy? Facts, what's up, man? Grogo is on fire. I'm gonna have to look at that right now, man. I'm gonna have to look at it. What is it? GROGGO? Grogo. Holy crap. Facts with the call as usual. Grogo up 732%. Nice one, brother. Nice one indeed. Grogo by Matt Fury to the frickin' moon. Death Bank in the house. Liquidity, what's up, man? Good things popping. Yes, let's see where they go. Got that daily close too. Yeah, we got the daily close where we needed it. Les, how you doing, man? What's your current thinking on JASMY's progress between now and Christmas? You know what? I think it's going to continue to climb up as it's going to go as Bitcoin goes, right? If Bitcoin continues, I think Bitcoin's going to be 85, 90,000 before the end of the year. JASMY will continue to climb with it, man. Boomer, what's up, buddy? Rhino Inc. What it do, man? What it do? Verifier, man. It's been a minute. How you doing? I only have 100,000 JASMY. So sad. Hey, every day, every DCA is a drop in the bucket, man. Don't get too down on yourself, brother. 100,000 is not terrible. Isaac, Rob, I have not purchased Bitcoin yet. Should I wait till bear market or start position out? I'm guessing wait. Well, Isaac, for me, I DCA into Bitcoin no matter what the price is, right? I buy it every couple of days, just minor amounts, 10 bucks here, 10 bucks there, and then I'll buy bigger dips with larger amounts. But I continue to accumulate over time. That's just my goal, man. That's my goal. I continue to purchase it. I don't, when it comes to Bitcoin, I don't care about the price. I continue to accumulate, stack sats, right? JM, wish I put more into Saber. Yeah, you told me at 45. Zenden, what's up, man? Good evening, friends. Hope to learn a bit about crypto. Any thoughts on Meme Alliance coin? Thank you. I have not heard of it, my friend. I would have a look at it for you. I see Nell wants me to look at a project too, guys. There is a goal in the top of the chat. If you check out the goal, I will pull up your altcoins and I will do a dive into them for you. Shizzle, what's up, man? Squirt Reynolds, people who call crypto useless and fake seem to forget they are holding paper with arbitrary value. 100%, man. What video is this so I could show people? This is what I've been trying to say to people for a while, but they just don't seem to get it. Just clip my video, brother. My live stream. When turbo soon, my friend. Altcoins will have their day in the sun. Make no mistake about it. Squirter dance. We don't believe yes. We don't believe her is right. The job of the government is to keep the change just loose enough so that we don't know. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Every time he starts talking, oh, Biden, yes, exactly. Ramrod. That woman built Ford tough. I think this is the most awake he has ever been during the last 4 years. Yeah, no kidding, eh? Someone snuck some Red Bull in his sippy cup. River, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Stake Bitcoin Trump. Drill, baby, drill. All countries should have a patented on Bitcoin. Yes, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will, man. River says, I can't believe that someone had this thing. She's reading something. Yes. It's an embarrassment that this woman is from Oklahoma. She's talking like she has a main protagonist syndrome. She is. She's the bad guy in the story, and she doesn't even know it. I wonder if she's. I saw that too. Boomer, I was talking about to my wife about that earlier. I was like, good. We want to breed these people out anyways, right? Oh man. Better thank a union. Yes, Jetpack. Thank Kamala for talking in like 6 different languages. No kidding, man. No kidding. Squirt. Backtracking hard with that one. Yes. Forcing people to play pronoun games ain't freedom. She basically saying Dems have no common sense. Yes, exactly. I am identified as a cat. Dude's got to be hopped up on something to be sweating like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, Drago. Yes. Do it now. Blessings, John. How are you, my friend? Crow family in the house. 2 lines of glow sticks. He sounds like a head to the chopper. Do it. Do it now. What are you waiting for? When you start seeing content like this, then you know we're near it. Yes. Yes, exactly. Arnold. What else do we got? Go Keystone ads. Yes. Everybody smash that like. Yes, exactly. Smash it, guys. Dominic, what's up, my brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Whew. All right, guys. Listen, that is the news. We got through it, man. We got through it good. We got through the chat. We had a good time. I am absolutely starving, so I'm going to go get something to eat. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button, help the channel grow. Get over to the Patreon. I just did a group. We do group Zoom calls over there, guys, on a daily basis. You missed out on some great conversations. I record them, though, and I put them over there in the library. So go check them out. You can also book one-on-one coaching sessions with me where I can help you with your portfolio structure. We can come up with exit strategies for you, when you should be taking profits, how you should be taking profits, all that stuff and more. Compounding gains, guys. We talk about taxes and tax implications, swing trades. We've been doing a lot of swing trades on meme coins over there lately, quite a bit, guys. So get over there, and you're missing out on like stuff. We talk about nodes, a lot of passive income opportunities too. So check it out. The link is in the description, guys. Book your one-on-one call with me, and we'll get you going in the right direction. Link in the description. I will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central for the morning live stream. Okay? Have a good night, guys.